I'm Bill Bartmann. Thanks for joining me. I want to talk about the 10 biggest mistakes that business people make. Now, how do I know these 10? Well, I know all 10 of them because I've committed all 10 of them at least once in my life. So I'm speaking from experience when I talk about these. These are things that can be devastating to a business. So as I go through each one of them, try to be honest with yourself. Are you violating them? And if you are, then we need to find a way to be able to deal with them. And it isn't that, that these things are irretrievable or once we commit one of these mistakes that we're stuck. No. As long as we recognize we're making it and it's not yet fatal, then we have a chance to fix it. We have a chance to heal it. We have a chance to cure it. So as I go through all 10 of them, really try to be honest with yourself. And if you're there, try to find a way to get yourself out of there. Well, here's number one. Never let your expenses exceed your sales. Now, I know that's easy to say because you say, well, gee, that makes perfect math. If my expenses never exceed my sales, then quite frankly, I'm always going to have additional revenue, I'm always going to have income, and I'm always going to have profit. Wow, that's fundamentally smart. But Bartmann, it doesn't quite work that way in the real world. When we start out, we don't have any sales yet. And so our expenses almost by definition have to exceed our sales on day one. And you're mathematically correct. That is factually true. So I'm not trying to hold your feet to the fire or to create some standard of impossibility. But I want you to have it as a concept that you should make that the fewest number of days absolutely possible that your expenses are exceeding your sales. Now, there's a way of doing that. There's a way of thinking about starting a business. Now, I've started 7 different businesses in 7 different industries, and I've done this for the last 40 years of my life, and I've been named National Entrepreneur of the Year twice. So I understand it, and I've succeeded and I've failed. So I get it. I'm not speaking from textbook. I'm speaking from street experience. And here's what I want you to take away from this first one. Start slow and grow fast. Most people get it backwards. They want to grow rapidly when they first start. They want to get rich. They want to get over the top. They want to, be successful. They want to be like the guy down the street or the guy who's been in business for 5 years or 10 years or some other period of time or the guy that has a big house or drives a nice car. Yeah, we all want to get there. And I want to get there and I want you to get there. But there's a secret to this, and that's starting slow. No matter how smart we are, no matter how good we are in business, we're going to make some mistakes. There's just some things we don't know, and there's some things we're going to have to learn the hard way. That's the real world. Let's make those mistakes when we're small. Let's make those mistakes while we're still young. Let's make those mistakes before it becomes fatal. If we start growing real fast, real soon, we get out of control, and it's kind of like a meteor spinning off in space. All we're going to do is bump into something and cause a major collision. So start slow, and if you start slow, you can keep your expenses and your sales in rein. You can check them. You don't have to spend a ton of money for advertising on day one. You spend a little bit of money, and you sell a little bit. And with that little bit of advertising, a little bit of sales, you have a little bit of money to go do it again. And you do it again and again and again and again successfully. You don't just start by pouring a whole bunch of money into an advertising campaign and hoping it's going to work. Sometimes the greatest success you can have will cause your failure. What if you were a young company and spent a lot of money on advertising and it was successful? And a whole bunch of customers came to your store ready to buy your product and you didn't have enough inventory, or didn't have enough sales clerk, or didn't have a big enough store. And those people went away frustrated, mad, or angry. Would they ever come back? Of course they wouldn't. You know that. You wouldn't. Don't expect them to. So we have to be careful. When we're starting out, start out slow. Now, there's another reason for doing this. Almost all of us are going to want to be able to borrow some money as we grow our business, or we're going to need to borrow money as we grow our business. Well, bankers, and I use the word generically for any lender, and I don't care if it's your mother-in-law, your brother, or a bank, or a financier, or an angel fund, venture capital, or a vulture fund, it makes no difference to me. When I use the word banker, I'm talking about anybody that will give you money for your business. They love 2 things. 2 things. They love proof of concept. They want you to be able to show them that your idea works. So they want you to test it small. They want you to have your little guinea pig, your little petri dish, your little science experiment where you actually can show them it really does work before you ask them to put a lot of money in it. They love that. It's called proof of concept. The second thing bankers love is frugality. They love to lend money to people who aren't frivolous with money, especially somebody else's, like theirs. So by starting slow, by growing your company organically for the first month or 6 months or 9 months or 12 months, I'm not talking about forever, I'm just talking about for the first period of time, where you can prove up your proof of concept, you can demonstrate your frugality, and you can balance your expenses and your sales. So you try to keep them in check, where quickly the sales do in fact exceed your expenses. Now there's another part of this program too, and that's making sure that it isn't just the advertising budget that you're keeping an eye on, it's all of the items inside your company. When you're first starting out, you don't need new furniture, you don't need the best of the best, you don't need the top of the line. Now, do I like that? Yeah, you're sitting in my office and you're looking at my desk, and this is a nice desk, and this is a nice office. But I had to spend some time getting here. Well, don't expect you're going to start there on day one. We, the people who are old enough, especially those of us who have children, we've experienced this thing where when our kids first grow up and they first get ready to leave the house and they want to go buy their own home, almost always they want to go buy a house just like mom and dad are living in. Well, what they don't seem to realize is mom and dad have been doing this for 25 years. Mom and dad have been investing in that house for 25 years, and mom and dad probably started out with a little bitty house, a little bigger house, a little bigger house, a little bigger house, and now they're in the house that their kids are growing out of. Well, that wasn't mom and dad's first house, that's mom and dad's last house. Well, your business may be your first business, not your last business. So start slow, and then I'll show you how to grow fast.